Okay, hello again, second graders. Let's do our abstract art project, okay? So I know we talked about Picasso in the video slides that I showed you, and we're going to do a project called Roll a Picasso. That's a lot of fun because that's like a game. So there's a few supplies that you need to collect, okay? The first one is a die, 6 sides with 6 numbers on it. The second is just a regular white paper. It can just be printer paper or any kind of white paper you have. You can ask your grown-up if you're able to print this off. I'm not sure if I'm able to send files online, but I think I will. But if not, you can just look at this paper and use it as your guide. So you can either have a printout of this or just look at this one. You will need a pencil. You will need a black marker, a Sharpie or any other kind of black marker is fine. And then you'll need something to color spaces in with. So you can use regular markers. I think today I'm going to use chalk. This is just a box of regular old sidewalk chalk. If you have that, that's fine. Smaller chalk is fine. If you have crayons, that works. If you have regular markers, again, that's fine. Color pencil, anything to color areas in with. Okay, so let's get started with our game. So the first thing to do is to take your die and roll. Okay, now I've got a 2, and you're going to look at your game page, your little chart to show you what to do. And right now we're looking at face shapes, okay? So I rolled a 2. That means my face shape is this kind of roundish one, okay? So when I draw my face shape onto my page, I don't want it to be small. So no little face shapes this size, you know, this size small in your page. We want them big like that to fill a lot of your page, okay? So I'm going to put in my face shape. It's kind of round, but it's kind of pointy at the top, and I like that it kind of isn't perfectly round, so I'm going to make mine like that. Okay, so everyone roll and draw your own face shape onto your page with your pencil. Now, if I'm going to quit at any time, you can just pause while you catch up or even rewind. And you don't need to feel like you need to go as fast as I am if I'm going too fast. Okay, now the second thing to do is to draw on your own hair shape. Now remember, this is abstract. It does not have to look like real hair at all. So I'm going to make my hair shapes kind of zigzags going off to the side like that. And I think that's all. My hair shape is just going to be going off crazy to one side like that. Yours can be curly looking, it can be going straight down, it can be going just, you know, lines coming off the top of the head, anything that you want. This is not realistic. We don't need to worry about it looking real at all. In fact, the crazier and sillier, the better. Okay, so you should have your face shape and then your hair drawn on. The next thing to do is to just add shoulders. And for all of these lines, well, for a lot of these lines, we're going to want them going clear to the edge of the page, okay? So for shoulders, you can draw something going straight from your head over. You can draw something kind of curved. I think I'm going to make my shoulders kind of curve like that. Okay, so you should have a head shape. You should have some hair, and I think I'm going to add a little piece of hair. I'm going to add some kind of bangs to the front of mine. And then you should have shoulders that go from your head off of the page on both sides. Okay, now here comes the fun part. We get to roll our dice a lot more. So right now I'm going to roll for the eye shape, okay? So I roll and I got a 3. Now I come down here and look at the 3 and go across, and that's the eye that I'm going to draw. I'm not going to do both eyes that way. I want both of my eyes to look different. And so I'm going to make one eye. I'm going to start with this eye. I'm going to kind of draw it that approximate shape, but I'm going to draw it a little bit crooked, and I'm going to draw it pretty large. So it doesn't really connect on that side, but it does over here. And then it has lines coming off it like that, and then kind of a big middle. And I'm not going to fill that in with my pencil because I'm going to fill it in with my marker later. Okay, so I have one eye kind of crooked and big off to the side. Now I'm going to roll for my second eye. Again, if you're not done with your first eye yet, just pause the video. Okay, I got a 6. Now remember, you're going to draw whatever eye you rolled. Okay, so you're not going to draw the same thing I'm drawing unless you roll the same number as me. So I got a 6, and this is a sideways looking eye. And I'm going to put it up higher and a little smaller. All right, looking pretty weird. That's the way it should look. Okay, now, the next roll that we're going to do is for the nose. Okay, so I got a number 1 nose. Everybody roll your own die and see what you got. I'm going to make this number 1 nose pretty big. The next roll is for the mouth. A number 1 mouth again, and I'm going to put the mouth kind of over here, going a little bit sideways. Your mouth and eyes and nose don't have to look perfect exactly like the example, but that just kind of gives you an idea of a way to do it. Okay, now I have my head, I have my hair, I have my shoulders, I have 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Okay, so now what we want to do now is kind of break up the background. So right now my background is kind of one big section here and then a smaller one here. I want to break up this big section here. So I'm going to pick one of my lines, and I'm going to pick this bangs line that I made, and I'm going to draw it all the way out to the edge of the paper. Okay, now what that does is just kind of break up my background. Now I have 3 sections. If you want to break yours up even more, you could. You can just start from the edge of your face and make a line going out, or you can pick a line on your face, like from one of your features that you drew, and extend it out. Either one works. Okay, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas in my background. That's great. So anywhere 3 to 5, something like that, is great. We just want to kind of break the background up a little bit. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do, you'll notice on your sheet, is that the last column here are textures, okay, little patterns of lines that we're going to fill some areas in with. But we don't want to fill the whole thing with patterns. That'll just look too crazy and busy. So we're going to pick 2 areas. So the first thing that you do is just look at your picture and decide which area would be cool with a pattern. You don't want to pick the face. That would just add too many lines and get too crazy in there. So it's going to be either your neck and shoulder area, one of your background areas, or a hair area. So I think I'm going to choose this bangs area that I made and roll for a texture. Okay, I got a 3. The 3 is these diamond shapes, which is kind of fun because my bangs shape is already diamond. So I'm going to add a diamond texture to it now. So you roll your own die, find your own texture, and start adding it into one of your areas. Okay, now I'm going to pick a second area, and I think I'm going to pick this background area right here. You pick your own area and roll for another texture. I got a 3 again. I'm going to cheat because I don't want to do the same texture twice. If you need to cheat a little bit, I'm giving you permission. Okay, I rolled a 4, and it's kind of these wavy lines. Okay, so I'm going to do wavy lines in this area. All right, so we have our picture pretty much all the way drawn. We have a face, we have the features, we have hair, we have background pieces, we have a shoulder with neck, and we have 2 areas filled in with texture. Now take a black marker and you're just going to trace the edges of the lines that you've already made. Okay, so try to cover the pencil lines that you drew so that we don't see the pencil lines anymore. Okay, I'm actually going to use a Crayola marker if this one works, because it won't stain the table. And you guys should probably be checking with your grown-ups on all these materials just to make sure that it's okay for you to use the different markers and stuff that you want to use. Okay, so I'm going to just trace all my black line or all my pencil lines with this black marker, and try to be a little bit careful during this part and go right on top of those pencil lines. If you don't, that's not a big deal. You can always erase the pencil, but it just makes it a little bit easier. See how I didn't follow that perfect? It just makes it a little bit easier if you cover them up with a marker. That way you don't need to erase them. Now, this one that we're doing together, we're kind of following all these steps really carefully. And I'm showing you exactly what to do. After you've done this one, you get to use this game any way you want. So if you want to just do a whole bunch of faces really fast and not worry about the marker part or the coloring in part, you can do that. This is a fun game to do if you have any brothers or sisters at home. If you have a little sibling, you could teach them this game. And remember, the sillier and the weirder, kind of the better on this, so don't worry about doing it perfect. Okay, now if you're not done yet, go ahead and just hit pause and finish tracing your lines. I am going to erase some of my pencil lines that I didn't trace perfectly. Okay, something like that. How does yours look? Does yours look even sillier than mine? Okay, the next step is to color in. Like I told you before, I'm going to use these just sidewalk chalks. If you have chalk pastels in like an art set, that's even better. If you want to use crayons or markers, again, that's completely fine as well. So I'm going to pick some bright colors. Now, here's a question. Do you think that I'm going to worry if the color is the exact color that a person's face or hair or clothes might be? Do you think I should make it look realistic? Nope, I am not worried about being realistic at all. So I'm going to give my portrait a purple face. Okay, so I'm going to color in. The reason that I like chalks for this particular project is because you can kind of cover color over your black lines, and the chalk is faded and pale enough that you can still see your black lines where you made them. And also it's just easy to fill in a big area really quickly. Now after, especially because I have this textured sketchbook underneath, you can tell that the chalk is pretty bumpy and textured where I colored it in. And that's another cool thing about chalk, is that you can use your finger to smooth the chalk after you've drawn with it. You guys remember doing this with our desert Joshua Tree space pictures that we made just a few weeks ago. Do you remember that? How we kind of drew in our black lines and then we used the chalk to fill in the color, and then we smeared it with our fingers. This is the same, basically the same thing. You can also take your extra chalk and tap it off to the side or straight into a garbage can to keep it from getting too messy. Now let's see, what other colors should we use? The fun part about this is there's no right or wrong colors. Everything is just fun and silly. I'm going to use purple and yellow because I know that yellow and purple are complementary colors on the color wheel from when we talked about the elements of art and the color wheel. Colors. We learned about complementary colors and how colors that are straight across from each other on the color wheel, like purple and yellow, look pretty good together. So that's why I chose yellow. You can choose whichever colors you like. You are the artist. You are in control, and you don't have to worry about what's real or realistic or even what you think looks really, really good. You can just make it any colors you want and have fun with it and not worry about what it ends up looking like. I think I'm going to use pink now. Should we give mine pink hair? You don't have to use a different color for every single section. If you want to, you can do more than one section with the same color. Especially if the sections aren't touching each other. In fact, you might want to try to use your color in more than just one area. Let's do a nice bright blue. Where should we put our blue? How about in this wavy section? It might look a little like a pool, maybe pool water or an ocean. One thing that's really important to remember as you're making artwork, especially abstract artwork, is to just have fun. Just kind of go with the flow. Go where your imagination takes you, because it's nobody's artwork but your own. And especially when you're a little kid, a lot of the things you do, somebody else kind of tells you how to do it or what to do. When you're making art, it's a really nice time to follow your own ideas and your own vision and create something that no one else except you would have made. I'm going to add pink over to this area too. Okay, what color should we use now, friends? Let's use this kind of, I'm going to use a green. I'm going to use a green up here. Have you guys already been doing some artwork during the at-home school and during your spring break? I would love to see some of the artwork that you're doing. So you can get my email. Your grown-up can help you get my email off the school website. And I would love to see you guys sending pictures of the things that you've made on break. It could be a picture of this project. That would be really fun. Or it can just be a picture of any kind of other artwork that you've made on your own this week. Okay, and there you have it. Should we even do, we can make one of the eyes a color. We don't need to leave them white because we don't need to worry about it looking real. Should we leave one white and make one blue? Why not? Okay, friends, I hope you had fun with this. Again, you can use this game sheet. You can just pause the video to where you can see this game sheet, and you can do it with any other different kind of medium you want. You can try it in paint, you can do just pencil, you can do tons of quick sketches, or you can take your time and make one with pen and color like this. You can share it with your friends and do it with your little brother or sister. And even your mom or dad might have fun doing this. Okay, see you next week.